Welcome, tech lovers and gadget geeks, to the show where we push buttons, twist knobs, and swipe like there's no tomorrow, but not like that. It's time for the Gadget Show podcast, your weekly dose of tech talk, gadget gossip, and unfiltered nerdy banter. I am Suzi Perry.
And I'm Jason Bradbury, and it's lovely to see and hear and be with all of you. It's absolutely amazing to be here. It's been a good week, actually. It's been a great week, and I've been really looking forward to this. I've been enjoying my JBL Tour Pro 3s, actually, which I've got in today. I'm using them as the audio source for this podcast.
Well, yeah, let me tell you about our JBL Tour Pro 3s, which we've all been using, haven't we? But did you know that they've got a special new Bluetooth feature called Auracast?
Yeah, it's a really cool feature, actually, isn't it? Is this the one where you can kind of, effectively broadcast the source of audio, so you could share it with a whole load of people with Auracast, devices? Is that what it is? Yeah,
exactly that, cool. Without any dongles and everything.
It's very cool. And I've got quite a nice little feature. Can you see? Not sure if you can see on camera because I can't see my feed there, but this is the case, which we're going to talk about more in the show later on. But I've plugged it in via USB-C into my computer. And I can now get the audio source, which right now is my own voice and your voice, out of the computer into this device and then via Bluetooth into my ear. So that's pretty snazzy.
Oh, and I just wanted to say, John Bentley has done a really good review on YouTube on these earbuds. So take a look at that for all the details.
He has. I watched that. I left a comment on it this morning. Okay, marvellous. Well, anyway, welcome one and all. To the latest edition of the Gadget Show podcast. It's great to be here again.
Right, this week on the Gadget Show podcast, we've got all the latest tech news, including all of Apple's recent Mac announcements, a discussion on the potential demise of the Xbox. I can't believe we're saying that. And we're chatting with JBL about the design and engineering of their speakers and earbuds. And finally, for our gadget of interest, it's Ninja's upcoming air fryer, the Crispi.
Well, I've got to say, listeners and viewers, I did say to Suzi before we pressed record, I said, air fryer? Again? Another air? And she said, no, but Jace, you've got to check this one out. So I'm really interested to hear about this. Anyway, what can I say? No better place to start than with some comments and questions from all of you, our lovely listeners.
Yeah, there's been an incredible response to this. I've had loads of comments about this. From a few weeks ago, where we ran through the crazy prices of retro games and what they can fetch. Starting with Keeping the Faith 72 on YouTube said, I've always had a soft spot for the Sony mini disc.
Yeah.
I've still got my Sony MZ NHF 800, which is in top working order and comes with a 1 gigabyte mini disc.
Wow. Also
have an Intellivision console and Amiga 500.
Well then, Keeping the Faith, you are a person after my own heart. I have to say, I hear you with regard to the mini disc, but I am absolutely I'm on the hunt actually for an Intellivision. I used to play B-17 Bomber on the Intellivision around my mate's house after school, and the Intellivision was one of the first consoles that I ever experienced that had a voice synthesizer plug-in. And there was a kind of American voice. It used to say B-17 Bomber.
Dell Electronics presents B-17 Bomber.
And it's one of those memories from my childhood. This very basic flying game. And of course an Amiga 500. OG all the way.
Say again? Redneck voice.
Yeah, very redneck and very, very memorable. So Keeping the Faith, if you want to keep your Intellivision, then fine. But if not, I'll take it off your hands. Oh, and Ton, the Howling Moon Records, 9529, nice pithy handle, that's from YouTube, said, cool to see Suzi. Always felt the show was not quite the same without her.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, and then finally, from Tall Man with Glasses, one of our very much cherished Patreon members, which is huge. Thank you so much for the support. As a person with a penchant for vintage tech, this episode was a delight to watch. I don't unfortunately have a copy of Super Mario lying around, but I do have a selection of early iPods and my prized Arcos jukebox. You remember the Arcos MP3 player? Okay, hearing Jason talk about his history with Jones reminded me of one I lent him several years ago. Never seen it since.
He's never seen it since.
It's probably sleeping with the fishes in a large body of water. Okay, right. So, Right, okay, I have a confession to make. So I know Tall Man with Glasses. He's one of my oldest friends, and I love him to bits, and a huge supporter of so much stuff that I get involved with. I've still got it. It's in the gadget cupboard, and I just have to make that next final move, which is actually giving it back to you. So there you go. Tall Man with Glasses, thank you so much. Really funny.
He hasn't got it.
I have. It's the Mavic 2, I think it is, by DJI. Honestly, I have on my laptop. I'll go and get it. Do you want me to go and get it?
No, we haven't got time for that. We'll believe you instead.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Flash Junkie on YouTube says, I miss you both. Well, we're here. We're right here for you. And then see you at Molyneux, Suze, and see you at Location for Control Alt Delete. Jason, super excited for you both.
Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. Keep them coming. But before we move on, Jason,
as that last comment mentioned, I hear there's an exciting update on your movie.
There is. Well, there's two exciting updates. One is that we funded the movie. At which point
I can't believe it.
Cue, clapping, cheering sound effects, because that's how it makes me feel every time I say that. So if you listening or watching were part of the funding on Kickstarter for Control AI Delete, then I can't thank you enough. It's absolutely astonishing. So yeah, I'm making a movie, and I'm in the pre-production process already, moving forward as we can. And the other part of the news is that lots of people said on social, Susie, that they reckon that Susie should appear in the movie. And is that going to happen? Can I rely on you to be available next April?
I'm so excited to be in your movie.
I've got a small part, but I'm kind of hoping it might be a bigger part.
Oh well,
I've got to speak, by the way. It's got to be a speaking role, because when I was in the nativity at school, I wasn't allowed to speak, and I was the innkeeper's wife, and I didn't have any words to say, and it scarred me, and that's probably why I do the job that I'm doing now. So please give me a speaking role.
This will be a cathartic experience, Susie, because you'll definitely get a speaking role. I've actually got an idea, but let's keep that for another episode. But no, sincerely, thank you. Appreciate the mention. Shall we talk news, Susie? Recently, Apple announced the M4 family of chips, which includes the base M4 model, the M4 Pro, and top-of-the-range M4 Max. What's interesting is, like actually you said, Susie, a couple of episodes back, if I'm not mistaken, this wasn't through the traditional press conference. They actually dropped this news in sort of daily news drops via video and social posts.
Yeah, exactly. It's their new approach to releasing information and launching new products. It's sort of drip effect, if you like. They're launching them when they're ready. So let's talk M4 Max first then.
These chips, they're all built on the second generation 3nm process, which improves both performance and the energy efficiency compared to previous models. The M4 series powers a range of new and updated devices, including a redesigned 24-inch iMac, the new Mac Mini, and upgraded MacBook Pro model.
Can I talk about the Mac Mini, because I think it's really interesting? I was having a quick tinkle on the keyboard then. I hope you don't think I was being rude, but it was because I was trying to confirm something that I've realised, and that is that the new Mac Mini is the first overhaul of the Mini unibody design since 2010. Well, certainly one of the videos I saw, they did a little sleight of hand where they revealed the new Mac Mini, and actually it was one of the old ones on top, and he took the top one off, and an even smaller one was below it, which is the new one, which is quite funny. It's incredibly small. It's actually quite thick. It's a bit taller, but it's super small. I mean, wow! You could take the M4 Pro variant of this, which is the sort of top end one. You could almost put it in a pocket. I mean, it's blooming tiny. And there were all kinds of interesting user case scenarios with that. It means that you can take your Office with you, and you can use it sort of to run a display or something at an event or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Really interesting piece of kit. But of course, Susie, it's not just Apple, is it, that have been in the news in the last week or so?
No, Samsung as well. Their latest upgrade to their Bixby AI is a significant enhancement, actually, integrating next generation capabilities that's based on their proprietary large language model. It's expected to launch alongside the Galaxy S25 in early 2025. This new version of Bixby is designed to offer a more advanced conversational interaction that competes with popular generative AI models like ChatGPT, and it's focused on enhancing natural language understanding, allowing for more context-aware responses and follow-up queries in a way that feels more fluid and intuitive. The AI revamp also means that Bixby will become more proactive.
Yeah, we're over, Siri now and Google Home and Alexa. They're great, but really they're about putting the timer on to boil an egg, aren't they? Or play a podcast. There's nothing intuitive about them, and I'm kind of waiting for that next far more meaningful interaction with technology. Anyway, interesting stuff. But I do believe we've got an incredibly interesting topic next, certainly from my perspective, anyway. Well, Susie, the question at the centre of our headline discussion this week is the Xbox dead?
With the rise of cloud gaming, cross-platform integration, and Microsoft's increasing focus on Game Pass and cloud infrastructure, the traditional console approach seems to be evolving very fast.
So can I just jump in? I've got some gadgets with me to kind of move this debate forward. I'm just going to Alt-Tab so I can actually see you, so I can make sure I get this in the right position on camera. So this, of course, this is my Steam Deck. This is I've had two Steam Decks in my life. This is my current one. Just pop that box up there. So for those people listening, I'm holding up my Steam Deck, my Valve Steam Deck portable gaming computer. And this is at the centre of any debate about the future of the Xbox as far as I'm concerned. That's because this operates, certainly in my world, as both a hardware device with a 1 terabyte drive on it, but also as a cloud-based gaming solution. And the cloud-based service, if I'm absolutely honest, that I use most on this device is Game Pass. I use my Microsoft Game Pass, which for as long as I can remember Game Pass, I've been a customer of it. I was playing Halo Infinite like yesterday. I play Fortnite on this via the cloud because my Game Pass allows me to connect to my Epic account, so I can also play my Epic games. A lot of gamers listening will be familiar with that process. And I, for one, I'm going to say that I wonder if where we're moving with Xbox, Susie, is there'll be a top-end Xbox, let's call it the Series X2, maybe in 2026, but announced in 25. But there won't be an Xbox Series S2. There will be a handheld Xbox. That's what I think. But I have no real evidence, no more than anyone else, other than just sort of, looking at the tea leaves.
I was wondering, with Game Pass and xCloud, Microsoft seemed to be more focused on services than hardware. I was just wondering whether we could see Xbox drop hardware completely in the next few years.
I think we could, but look, ultimately, let me just start that answer with a beautiful bit of more retro tech. So this is not only one of the first generation or two generations of Xbox. It's the crystal version, Susie. So yeah. This is a much sought after piece of kit, and as you can see, I'm holding it up. It's a crystal clear, see-through Xbox for those of you listening to the podcast, which I'm failing to get in focus. I'll just get my face out of the way, and it should get in focus. There we go. Isn't that don't you think that's lovely, Susie? Isn't it a beautiful thing?
Yeah, I do. I think it's an object of absolute beauty.
Yeah, it is. And there's very much a kind of seductive, almost fetishistic relationship that we have with hardware and good product design. So I don't think they're going to forsake that entirely. And I also think this, ultimately, any cloud-based service, it's got to have some physical device to put in the hands. The ergonomics of this are the Steam Deck, I'm holding it up again, are very good. I'd say they're not quite as good as my standard Xbox gamepad. I'd say I'm slightly better with my gamepad than I am with the wider grip on the Steam Deck. There's lots of reasons why hardware is a good thing, and it's not just about raw processor power. It's sometimes about the ergonomics and the ability to physically have it somewhere. And a lot of kids as well, a lot of young people can't afford top-end gaming PCs. And the great thing about the Xbox Series S, for example, which is what my youngest boy has got, is that it's a very affordable piece of hardware that opens up the Xbox ecosystem to you.
What do you think of this? Because it was interesting that Xbox have released an updated version of the console, the Series X. Granted, not a hardware upgrade like the PS5 Pro. It's a digital-only version in a new colour, in white. But it was met with literally no fanfare at all.
Yeah, their hardware, from what I'm aware, I think their hardware sales are on a downward slope. And I don't really understand why that is. It's kind of above my pay grade, really. I just wonder if the market's saturated. I think those people that want an Xbox have probably already bought one, and they're well-designed pieces of kit. I mean, we've talked, just for those of you listening who are fans of PlayStation, we have done the PlayStation 5 Pro and talked a lot about that. So forgive us if you think we're being one-sided here. I think it's fair to say that the market's saturated. Those that want an Xbox have got one, and they've done a really good job of servicing two types of Xbox user. The high-end, almost kind of money no object. I want the best AAA gaming experience I can get. That's the X. And then people like my son, who don't have a lot of pocket money, and he bought it himself, and it's a Xbox Series S, and it gives him a great experience. I mean, he's on it every day. Interestingly, GTA 6 might be the next killer title to warrant upgrading your hardware, but digital only, a little bit of a better price. That's not compelling, is it really?
Do you think that Sony, the price of the new PlayStation, they're able to get away with that high price because their competition is so much less now?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe, yeah. I still think that the price of the PS5 Pro is probably more a reflection of what's going on in the world. And I'm talking about wars and political disputes around places like Taiwan and China, which wasn't the case 10 years ago. We were all kind of in bed together. We were all sharing resources and sharing sales and exports and imports. Now it's all a bit more complicated. Rather that than I think necessarily a strategy on Sony's part to kind of make hay while the sun shines. Because all of that could change quite quickly if next year maybe they announce that they're doing a Series X2 or indeed an Xbox Portable. It would just change instantly. So I don't think so. No.
So the answer to is the Xbox dead is no.
Well, I tell you what, we'll put it out to our listeners and viewers because I'll be absolutely fascinated to know what you feel. But I'm going to, like I've done so many times on the Gadget Show and so many times got it wrong, I'm going to put my neck out and say absolutely no. The Xbox is not dead, but it's going through a really interesting change of identity, and it's going to be fascinating to watch.
So now it's time for our special guest. And joining us today is someone who knows sound inside and out. And we're thrilled to welcome Mark Hockey, the product and training lead for Harman, who's here to talk about the latest in JBL's world-class audio.
Like the new JBL Tour Pro 3s, from mind-blowing sound quality to cutting-edge tech, he's the guy with the inside scoop on what it takes to create earbuds that really hit the high notes.
Hello, Mark. Welcome to the podcast family. It's great to see you. Got to say, Suzi, it makes things a bit easier, doesn't it, when the tech that is the sponsor of our podcast is actually outstanding. You've done a great job. What is your role at JBL, Mark?
Well, I'm also a senior PR lead as well. So one of my jobs is to make our products, not only sound amazing, but also, work amazingly and put them in the right people's hands as well, from that perspective. So, I mean, realistically, I don't actually do any of the design work. We leave that to our acousticians and our special designers and our ergonomic designers and our industrial designers. But obviously we get to see the product really early, so I'm one of the people that get to listen to them really early and help the company really refine what we do in terms of sound quality.
You say there, Mark, that you weren't involved with the design, but can you just talk us through the design philosophy?
Well, this is the third generation of the Tour Pro 3s. So effectively, what we did is we used to have a very early product called the Tour Pro, which was designed for customers who really wanted to basically travel with a very high quality in-ear headphones, but that was a few years back. And then a couple of years ago, we launched the first generation with the display system in it. So effectively, customers could easily interface with all the functions and the features on the charging case. And, so effectively where we are now is we have this really high precision display that enables you to control absolutely everything on the product.
What about the sound? Because obviously JBL has got a reputation for high quality sound. Can you explain the process of of tuning and calibrating the sound for the Tour Pro 3?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, JBL as a consumer brand has been making products now for way over 80 years. So we've been making sound to entertain everybody at any level, whether it's a pair of headphones or whether it's the biggest stadiums or cinemas or studios in the world. And therefore, we have this sort of really high quality level of research, which we update, and we have white papers actually produced on this as well. And this enables us to really look at how customers actually listen to music, how customers actually prefer to listen to music. So in these instances, some of the research which we've done across all of our headphones over the years basically gives us the ability to really fine-tune these products and match a customer's audio requirement almost straight away. In addition to that, what we also then is we have a load of functions where you can really customise the product as well, and that will give you the best possible sound for you personally.
And what was the challenge like in creating an effective adaptive noise cancelling technology in such a tiny compact form, if you like?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously we've had to miniaturise all the microphones that are actually on the earbuds themselves, and we actually use 3 microphones per side effectively. So we have 2 external microphones looking to reduce all the noise, and then we have one actually inside the earbud itself, which then also looks at all the noise that's still inside your ear canal, if you like, and then that helps us to actually balance the sound quality perfectly, or the noise cancellation, perfectly, from what's going on outside to what's going inside your ear. And the calibration, the algorithms which we produce to do that, give you the best possible match for every environment that you're in. So the adaptive sound quality literally looks at everything from the noise level that you're in, the frequency levels you're in, the repetition of that sound around you, and then effectively from that point gives you the best possible noise cancellation we can give you.
Mark, I tell you, one of the features that I think's really cool is this feature. So I've got these plugged into my desktop PC via USB-C, and then I'm able via Bluetooth from this actual case to listen to the output of you guys speaking, which I've never come across that before. I think it's an amazing feature. You can also do it via USB-C to 3.5mm jack, or the other way around actually. So there are myriad ways of connecting it to your hardware, which I've not really seen before. I think it's an amazing thing.
No, I mean, it's not unique, but we're there are very few brands that actually do this type of technology. And also, Jason, just to let you know, it's actually we're not using Bluetooth when we use a rebroadcast function, from the case. We're actually using a digital broadcast system.
Are you?
Yeah, so it's completely uncompressed, and therefore, if you're using it with the sort of high-resolution audio requirements, things like, say, less Tidal, Amazon HD, etc., that type of stuff, then effectively it's completely uncompressed, so you can get true high-resolution audio, absolutely lossless. Absolutely, yeah.
I was a big fan of Tidal at one point, and there are so many great offerings now, aren't there? And sometimes, you get a new phone or you do a deal and you end up getting free access to all the platforms, and that normally drives my purchasing decision. But Tidal, as a bit of an audio file, you can see I've got the instruments, I'm really into my music. Actually, I love the concept of getting the absolute best version of whatever, album or 12-inch. And the fact that these can make use of that is really important. And I didn't want to interrupt, guys, but the noise cancellation is particularly good. I won't say which ones, but I had another brand of something similar literally moments before listening to the same musical source when I first put these in. And the noise cancelling function of the Tour Pro 3s was superior. It was immediately obvious to me.
Well, so, I mean, obviously the big advantage of really good noise cancelling as well is it means that it puts you in that quiet bubble. So it relaxes you, enables you to concentrate more on your music. Obviously, your fabulous Gadget Show podcast, whatever you're listening to from that perspective. But also, it means that you can also turn the volume down a little bit as well. So you don't have to have stuff really loud in your ears, even though you might be in a loud environment. You can have it at a much lower level and really enjoy the precision within that audio as well.
Yeah, that's always good to be so immersive in whatever you're doing. It does enable you to concentrate more. Jace just mentioned the case, which I'm wondering if it is unique, actually, the case, because it's beautifully styled with the little screen. How much of a challenge was that in terms of engineering consideration? And I just find like doing it on such a small scale.
Yeah, it's been quite a challenge from that point of view. I mean, obviously, when we launched the very first generation, we had a few learnings from that point of view to basically give a better screen on the second generation, to give a wider range of functions and features, and also improve the sort of handling of the screen, the way they actually operated, where you needed to change the logos, We needed to change the way that you could actually operate all the little functions and features simply and easily. And also we now give you a wider range of functions and features on the screens as well. So that's made quite a big difference. But yeah, we're the only mainstream manufacturer making any product like this at all with these integrated screens into the charging cases. And obviously, I mean, the nice thing is that it really means that when you're using the product on a day-to-day basis, no matter what you're using the product with, whether it's a phone, a tablet or a PC, maybe something that doesn't actually have an application where you can easily find and fine-tune the functions and features of the product, here you can do that. You can literally just pick the case up, a couple of swipes, and you can change from spatial audio to normal audio to all that sort of stuff. You can change everything, so it's very simple from that perspective.
That's good stuff. It's a really complete package.
Yes, absolutely. It's a huge tech fest wrapped around a fantastic sounding pair of headphones.
The other thing is, and this is really important for me, because I actually don't normally like having things stuck inside my ear hole. And I know I go on about it a lot, but the comfort of these is quite extraordinary. I've worn them on really long flights recently, and they've not bugged me at all. And they've just, obviously it comes with lots of different sizes for you to, change depending on the size of your ear hole. Like Jason's probably got, a bigger fitting than my tiny little mouse ear.
But in terms of engineering that, how did that plan out?
Well, again, what we do is we have to scan thousands and thousands of ears. So from an ergonomic point of view, basically what we have to do is, from that research point, we have to literally look at thousands of people's ears, measure those ears, make mouldings of those ears, and then what we do is it creates almost like an average fit for the best possible fit. And then what we've also done is we've given you slightly oval tips, because your ear canals actually aren't perfectly round, they're slightly oval. So the oval tips fit better as well, and then we give you a selection of either silicon-sized tips, and we also have more of a compressed type, sort of memory type foam tip as well. So, depending on what works best for you, and it's all about the fit. If it fits perfectly, it's going to sound perfect, and it will also isolate you perfectly for noise cancellation as well. And that's why we have not only a great fit in terms of the ergonomics of the product, but also actually in the app that is the companion app within the headphones as well, we have a function called a fit check. So effectively, when you actually first put the headphones on, one of the things you can actually do is you can check how the fit is. It checks a seal around all the ear canal as well to give you, again, the best possible fitting, which will in turn give you the best possible sound and noise cancellation.
Can you foresee a future, or maybe some functionality for this version, where you could store music on the case so that if you've not got a signal, you can still listen to it?
So that's not something which we're going to initially planning on doing. Obviously, it's all feedback is always taken on board. So we'll go back to the design team and sort of mention this. But I would say probably not at the moment, because obviously so many listeners, if you like, are listening to such a variant of different material from different sources. And that's one of the real benefits of these headphones, is you can listen to it on all your different sources very simply and easily. I don't think we'd ever have a time really where we'd expect to see memory stored into the product. But it is something we could look at in the future, definitely.
Can you tell us about any other new innovations that are coming out? JBL, is there anything that we could, reveal on our podcast?
There's always new stuff coming up, so basically you have to watch this space. I mean, with headphones, realistically, these have only just been launched, so we've got nothing new to talk about effectively right now. But obviously, it's a continuation in terms of process of the way we actually work with these products. And obviously, because these are app-driven as well, and therefore you can update them as well. So if there are any new functions or features or changes that we want to make on this, then we can do that fairly easily with over-air updates as well. I mean, one of the things I would say as well, that the product also carries something called Auracast. And Auracast is a Bluetooth-based technology that's just being started to install by a number of manufacturers, but we're one of the leading manufacturers in it. So we have it in some of our speakers, some of our party boxes, and now our headphones as well. And what it means simply for this product is that it can rebroadcast to another pair of Auracast-based headphones or another speaker if you want to. So you could literally go from just two of you watching a tablet nice and easily and watching exactly the same movie, exactly the same time with effectively the same headphones. That's nice and simple. But you could also start a party with these headphones, so you could broadcast your music through your headphones to one of our other speakers, and all of those speakers then be joined together. So if you wanted to fill a room with sound started from your headphone party, you can do that.
It's a really cool feature. I absolutely love it. And it's part of a really strong feature set. Congratulations. It's a great product. Thank you, Mark.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure, as always.
Right, so very quickly, before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to this week's gadget of interest, and it's the Ninja Crispi. Don't
don't cut me down. Hear me out, right? Because this, I know it's an air fryer, but it's portable, and it's got two glass dishes, which you can basically, so you cook your food in the glass dish, you can serve it in the glass dish, you can eat out of it, two different sizes, so you've got a single portion, or you could, the bigger one for like a big chicken or whatever you want to eat, but a family meal. And then you can store your leftovers in the same bowl in the fridge, and then you can reheat it in the same bowl. So basically, this Crispi is for really, really, really lazy people that don't like doing washing up, that want to save some money by using an air fryer and get great food. And you know, and it's Ninja, so you know it's going to be good. But the thing I really like about it is quite small, actually. It's quite portable, so it doesn't take up too much of your kitchen either.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So when I saw this on the schedule, I was thinking, have we got some kind of weird obsession with air fryers on this show? Because I seem to remember Otis coming into our lovely studio and actually, to be fair, cooking some utterly delicious food with a few of those.
Yeah.
But no, I like the fact that it's glass. My wife, as you know, is a nutritional therapist, and she's very keen on trying to use certain materials to cook with so that there's no kind of transference of, like plastic, chemicals and all the rest of it. So she'll like that. And yeah, I like the idea of the multi-use dish. That's cool, isn't it? So you cook with it. What did you say? You cook with it, you eat with it, and you store with it. Is that right?
Yeah, you can stick it in the fridge if you've got leftovers, and then you can reheat it in the same dish. It's out in the US. It's $159. It's coming to the UK next year. And I'm going to just tell you that you're not going to be able to get hold of one because they're just going to sell out. I know they are.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks. Get your miniature Crispi Ninja thingies as soon as you can, because they're going to be a hot property. It's going to be like the launch of the new Xbox that we thought was never going to happen. There's going to be people sniping, and they're going to be selling it for 3 times its value than Ninja Crispi.
So that's it. That's a wrap on the wild ride through Gadgetland. Remember, whether you're tuning into your favourite throwbacks or diving into the latest tech trends, our partner JBL's Tour Pro 3 earbuds are your ultimate sight.
Yeah, top-notch sound quality, Suze, and some really good features, some really strong features. And it was nice to hook up with the chap from JBL, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice to meet Mark and talk about the little mini rave that you can have in your ears. But that's it for this week. Who doesn't love that? We'll see you very, very soon.
Thanks for listening, and keep those comments coming in on social media. We love it. See you next time.
The Gadget Show podcast with Jason and Susie was presented by Jason Bradbury and Susie Perry off the telly. It was produced by Ewan Keel and Tom Clint and is a North One production.